Welcome, Night Anime Recap. In a magical world where humans, demihumans, and monsters are sworn enemies, a princess named Saltrin or Sally refuses to discriminate against any race. One day, a gigantic walrus monster attacks a village, terrifying everyone. While everyone runs away in panic, Sally dares to face the monster, but a demihuman named Frau interferes to protect her. Sally first meets Frau, a demihuman bunny wearing a schoolgirl outfit, collapsed in the woods. She intends to ignore Frau, but when she hears her growling stomach, she figures that the demihuman needs something to eat. Frau is a harefolk who seems gentle and loves carrots. As for Sally, she left her home to look for someone, but Frau has not seen this person. Sally is about to go, but because of the kindness she showed to her, Frau decides to come along in her journey. Although Sally is reluctant to travel with a demihuman, she still allows Frau to join her for a while. They eventually reach a nearby village. However, when a villager notices Frau, he treats her rudely as he thinks of her as a dangerous monster. The man warns Sally not to be deceived by a demihuman's gentleness and convinces her to abandon Frau. For a second, Sally doubts her companion, but, in the end, Sally chooses to leave the village with Frau. They did not go far though, as the princess is just figuring out a way to enter again. Frau now wears a hooded cape to hide her true form as they sneak into the village. Unfortunately, to their surprise, they encounter the village lord. Frau exposes herself because of the excitement of seeing the basket of carrots the local lord carries on his back. Surprisingly, unlike the old villager, the local lord is kinder as he offers them a place to sleep and food to eat. During her conversation with the village lord that night, Sally discovers the devastating experience of the people in the village. Everyone lived in the constant fear of monsters overrunning their homes, killing many of their people. Until one day, a young traveler happened to pass by and slew the monsters single-handedly. The traveler sounds familiar to Sally, and when she asks him to describe this person, she confirms that it is the same one she has been looking for, Makoto. Sadly, the village leader doesn't know where Makoto is heading. Sally then recalls how Frau was badly treated when they came even though she's a traveling demihuman. The village lord explains that no village will welcome demihumans as they are savage and stupid by nature. They are as bad as monsters from a human perspective. These words bother Sally even in her sleep. To her, Frau doesn't seem anything like those monstrous creatures. The following day, a strong roar awakens Sally. It is not just an ordinary monster, but a demonic ogre who has the form of a giant chicken with horns. Sally immediately comes out to fight it, but the moment she sees the monster, she suddenly feels a burning sensation all over her body. A sensation she has felt before. Sally wants to fight, but her body refuses to cooperate with her. The ogre is about to attack when Frau suddenly comes just in time to save the day. She kicks the gargantuan ogre down on the ground. The kick was so strong that it couldn't even attack back. Everyone is surprised to witness a normal-looking demihuman possesses extraordinary strength. But, instead of being thankful to Frau, the villagers fear her and insist they leave at once. Their ungratefulness makes Sally angry, but unexpectedly, Frau sincerely thanks him for feeding her carrots. Sally cannot help but feel a certain sense of pride from seeing Frau still keeping it together despite the treatment she's receiving. After that, they leave the village without turning back. However, they did not expect that just outside the village, they would encounter the knights of the kingdom of Rimdarl, and soon they find themselves detained in the kingdom. The commander of royal knights, Hawthorne Gatter, eventually frees them. Knowing that the mess is due to their prejudice against demihumans annoys Sally. Once again, Sally is the one speaking up for Frau, who appears to be indifferent or oblivious of such unfair treatment. This prejudice is not the only reason they were taken, as Hawthorne also said they saw how Frau effortlessly slew the ogre barehandedly, explaining that a demihuman with such strength poses risk. But Hawthorne immediately adds that his perspective of Frau changed when he witnessed how she fought to protect Sally and bowed to respect the village lord. Hearing this compliment makes Frau blush as they fist bump like they have become instant friends. Hawthorne is about to release them when Frau's stomach growls again. Right, they haven't had a chance to have breakfast yet. Because they don't have any money, Sally coerces Hawthorne to treat them. Feeling guilty for taking them to prison, Hawthorne agrees to accompany them to town and buy them food. Meanwhile, two ogres are plotting to attack the kingdom of Rimdarl. One is a female ogre named Maki, and the other is a walrus monster named Set. Maki exposes her weird eyeball that produces a cannonball that causes a massive explosion in the town. This technique causes Maki to shrink, an experience she doesn't particularly like. Set infiltrates the town and ruthlessly kills several of the guards. Several guards are no match to the walrus monster. The ogre just crushes them as if they were not but annoying insects. When Sally sees the ogre, Her red eye glows as she seems to be in a trance while approaching him. Hawthorne convinces her to run, but she ignores this. Instead, she keeps on going forward towards the enemy. Before Sally puts herself and Hawthorne in danger, Frau arrives and immediately attacks the monster. Unfortunately, not even her powerful kick is strong enough to scratch the ogre. Frau's voice makes Sally return to her senses, so Hawthorne forces her to go right away, leaving Frau with the monster. Even Set finds it surprising how a demi-human is willing to protect a mere human. Frau explains that it's because of the carrot debt. She feels indebted to Sally for showing her kindness that no one else has shown her before. Sally is also not afraid of her, making Frau want to be with her forever. That's why Frau is determined to protect Sally until the end. But her reason sounds ridiculous to Set and maybe anyone who can hear it. How can a demi-human be this loyal to a mere mortal? Frau attacks Set with her hammer, but it doesn't hurt the walrus. Set is so strong that he easily clasps the harefolk and throws her into the air, intending to kill her once and for all. As she is suspended midair, Frau knows she will die in Set's hands, and somehow, she has accepted her fate. However, Sally returns, screaming for her not to give up. It inspires Frau, and out of nowhere, she gains the courage and strength to fight back, kicking Set with all she has. This attack weakens Frau, but it does not harm him. As for Sally, seeing Frau allows the burning sensation to come again. Her heart beats abnormally fast, and her eyes are glowing red. What she feels is clearly not fear as she slashes Set's hand with her bare hands. The explicable sensation is the awakening of an unstoppable desire to kill. Meanwhile, Maki is resting under a tree outside the town while waiting for Set when she notices a human accompanying her. She didn't sense her presence, but no matter. No big deal. She'll just kill the human out of boredom. She's about to release her eye's power when the human abruptly cuts the tree separating them, showing off that he's not someone a monster can mess with. This human is Mikoto, the same person Sally is looking for. Mikoto knows the massive cannon earlier caused Maki to shrink, so he tells her he will give her time to regenerate her power because slaying the monster that way is more fun for him. While waiting, Mikoto learns Maki is getting revenge on the kingdom for destroying their natural habitat. And as Maki talks, she slowly returns to her original form. Mikoto is known to the monster as the monster-slaying traveler. He fights for the same reason as Maki. For this reason, he understands how she feels. Maki wants to end Mikoto's life just as much as Mikoto wants to eliminate her. Maki releases her powerful eyeballs as she tells him he's too dangerous to be allowed alive. Mikoto only laughs at this as his eyes glow a sinister purple with the notable plum symbols on them. As for Set, thinking it's unforgivable to be defeated by a human drives him to create a massive cannon using his horn to strike Sally with it. The explosion distracts Maki, allowing Mikoto to slash her body in half. Maki manages to regenerate. Mikoto notes that she is able to do this because her chi is attuned to nature, an interesting and fitting ability for someone who loves nature so much. She surrounds herself with her floating eyeballs. However, Mikoto easily extinguishes them with a direct strike of chi. Maki cannot believe what she is seeing. How could a young man like him just do that? At the same time, Set thinks he has eliminated Sally, and he's appalled to see her unscratched. The explosion might have brought back Sally to her senses, but she can't remember what happened. She's also surprised to see the mess around her, yet it does not stop her from continuing her fight with the ogre. She draws her sword and cuts Set's body without hesitation as her eyes glow. Meanwhile, Mikoto seems to be just toying with his enemy. Knowing that Maki anticipates he will dodge her attack, he nails his foot on the ground using his sword, much to Maki's surprise. He tells Maki to unleash an attack, and he will not dodge it, an utter mockery of the ogre's power. Annoyed by this, the monster creates a giant cannon using her eye and sends it to Mikoto, but it doesn't harm the human at all. Maki is terrified by the realization that she has underestimated the monster slayer, yet it's already too late for her. As Maki has shrunk to a kid form, she asks him, "Who in the world are you?" This sends a flash of memories into Mikoto's mind. He then responds to her answer, "I am Kibitsu Mikoto, sworn enemy of all ogres." And with that, he mercilessly plunges his sword into Maki's eye as the girl screams in horror from what is being done to her. Now that Set has been cut apart, he stands there in disbelief that someone like him, who they consider a high ogre, has been defeated by a mere human. How humiliating it must be that it was this small smiling blonde girl in front of him that did the job. Even so, Set thinks that it's amusing that this is how it would end before collapsing down on the city streets. The moment Set perishes, Sally's eyes clear up and she passes out. A worried Frau calls out to her in worry. Mikoto also removes Maki's horn just before his talking dog companion arrives. The dog notices Maki is still breathing and asks why Mikoto won't kill her altogether. Mikoto says he had destroyed Maki's source of power, her eye, and the horn leaving the ogre to be just as ordinary as a human. To him, this is a fate worse than death. However, the dog calls him out on it. He doesn't believe that he intends to torture the ogre, but that he saw himself in her. Before they leave, the dog senses a familiar scent, and Makoto knows who it is from. But still, he refuses to meet Sally, and then walks away, wondering why she is in such a place. Days later, Sally wakes up with Frau by her side. Hawthorne lets them stay in the palace to rest, though Sally's memory of the fight remains fuzzy. She can't even remember she was the one who defeated the walrus ogre. Hawthorne leads them to go somewhere, and as they walk, the knights are suddenly being friendly with Frau. It turns out Sally and Frau are heroes in their eyes for fighting off the ogre. Being a demi-human doesn't matter to them now, because they are grateful to Frau for saving their lives. They even comment on how soft she is. How adorable. Sally cannot help but warn the bunny demi-human that she shouldn't let strangers take advantage of her softness. To this, Hawthorne can only laugh. Afterward, Hawthorne brings Sally and Frau to the cell to show them they have captured a human-like ogre. Maki seems unconscious, and since they are unsure whether Maki is an ogre or a human, Hawthorne asks Sally and Frau to watch over her for a while. The moment Hawthorne leaves, Frau notices Maki is just faking her sleep. Maki thought she could buy time to recover her strength by doing so, but nothing is happening. She's still oblivious that she has lost her ogre power. In Sally's eyes, Maki is more like a human. So to prove that he's an ogre, Maki tries to punch Frau, but it's too weak. That's when she realizes her eye and horn are missing, and that Makoto had taken them. Mentioning Makoto's name alerted Sally. She asks him if this Makoto was a feminine-looking man. Maki replies that it was him, but also cannot believe that the person she fought wasn't even a woman. It's okay, Maki. I thought Makoto was a girl too. Hearing Makoto go after Maki makes her believe she is genuinely an ogre. It pleases Sally to know that she's close to finding Makoto. Before leaving the cell, Sally warns Maki to keep her true identity a secret as they plan to execute her. This news terrifies Maki, but at the same time, she prefers to get killed than live a life of a powerless ogre. Sally takes pity on her, and because of this, she instructs Frau to break her out of jail. Maki is flustered by Sally's kindness, but she decides to make use of it at least until she can get her power back. The three of them escape the palace right after. Hawthorne is surprised to know that Sally is leading the escape, so he immediately chases after them. He tells them that he cannot allow them to just take Maki out like that. Frau kicks him to the ground, and though Sally feels sorry, she's determined to get this defenseless ogre out of the kingdom safe. As they run away, another massive cannon comes flying in, wiping out the whole kingdom in a split second. Hawthorne sees right before his eyes the kingdom he swore to protect disappear as if it were nothing. This is the world they live in. A world where monsters are preying on humans and humans hating on the other kinds. And as Sally, Maki, Frau, and now Hawthorne embark on a journey together, they might provide a silver lining for a much better world.